Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lyla in the Loop Appy Hour presented by WFSU very proudly. We are so happy you found this video and that you're going to join us today to learn more about Lyla in the Loop and how our team here at WFSU is going to use it, and also why it was created and so many other things about it. So let's get started. This is our team. There are four of us here today. I am Tasha Weinstein. I'm the Education and Engagement Director. And we have with us also...
I'm Ryan Lynn. I'm the Education and Engagement Coordinator.
My name is Lauren Taylor, and I am the Education Specialist.
And I am Leah Moore, the Early Education Specialist and Early Learning Champion.
We're so glad that you found us. Stay with us. We're getting ready to jump into Lyla in the Loop. So, Lyla in the Loop is part of our Ready to Learn initiative. Just a little bit of information. I'm going to pass it over to Lauren, and then we'll just read these out in alphabetical order.
So the Ready to Learn initiative is part of the U.S. Department of Education, Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and PBS.
It develops high-quality educational media resources.
And it designs programs for children ages 2 to 8.
And our priorities for this 5-year grant program, which wraps up in 2025, are computational thinking, everyday literacy, collaboration, and the world of work. Our goals for today are introduce Lyla in the Loop and its learning goals,
Discuss computational thinking and its role in the show and in our daily lives.
And discuss how Lyla in the Loop can be incorporated in learning spaces.
Now we're going to take a look.
There's a show on PBS Kids with this girl named Lyla who loves to make stuff and figure things out.
We can do it!
With a little help from her family.
Now this is art.
Her bestie.
That's an amazing idea.
And Stu. Stu's a lot of fun. And he's super helpful.
Go, Stu, go!
Except when he isn't.
Didn't see that coming.
Lyla in the Loop, streaming now on PBS Kids.
So a little bit more about our favorite show, Lyla in the Loop. The series follows Lyla, the main character. She's a dynamic 7-year-old girl who lives in a big city with her close-knit family, her fantastical blue sidekick, Stu, which we saw in the previous clip, and a host of relatable and quirky characters in the community. So you get to see how they all are friends and solve problems in their everyday life.
Lyla loves to collaborate with Stu, her mom, Lydia, her dad, Louis, her older twin sisters, Liana and Louisa, and her little brother, Luke, to solve everyday mishaps, messes, and mix-ups.
And along the way, Lyla relies on creative problem solving and critical thinking skills to design and test her ideas and build imaginative contraptions, which lead to clever solutions and comedic disasters.
Along the way of this process in the show, all of these different things happen. So one of them is debugging. So debugging is when you go back through and you change things to make them work even better. And we know from our phones being updated and our computers being updated that debugging happens all the time in our world, and there are lots of careers around debugging.
There's also, in the show, there's things like algorithms, and an example of an algorithm is the steps that you take to get a job done. So that would be like brushing your teeth. What is the first step you do when you brush your teeth? You get out your toothbrush, you put the toothpaste on, you run it underwater, and you brush your teeth. And so there's a lot of algorithms represented in Lyla as well.
And in addition to that, we have control structures. So think of the traffic light. So the traffic light is a structure that controls how we move through traffic. red to stop, yellow to slow down, green to go. That's an example of control structures.
Another thing that this includes is decomposition and modularity. So we are decomposing, we're taking things down. An example of this can be setting the table and the steps that it takes to get the table set. We can put all the plates down first, or we can put all the utensils down first. Maybe just all the forks and then all the spoons, or we can put each table setting together at a time. And that's just different ways to all get us to the table set.
One of the things I love so much about Lyla and the Loop, and actually some of our other programs too, is the idea of representing the steps that you're doing, and being very thoughtful about how things go into order. Because Stu, once you all realize and you watch the show a lot and you fall in love with it like we have, Stu really needs things to be explained very carefully. And when they're not, and when he or they have their own ideas about it, it becomes abstract. And then the struggle becomes even more real. It's important for us to demonstrate things to our children and really to each other too. Like, we always need help breaking things down so that we understand them and we represent them and we find analogies to explain them, so that as throughout our life, that just becomes a skill that we gain, that we can find other things that represent something, but then also ways to take a concept and apply it to something else in a more abstract way. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the final one too, which is the human and computer systems and that interaction. There's actually a term for as humans and computers become more compatible with one another. It's called singularity, which is super science fiction-y to all of us at this point. But that idea that we have to explain things in a very logical, methodical way so that computers can understand what we are asking them to do and help us be more productive in our lives and in our world.
All right, so let's take a look at our two main characters. So we have Lyla Loop. She's a big dreamer. She tries her hardest to solve problems through creativity and persistence. She has some specialties like making projects, making messes, and making friends. She's getting better at early mornings, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later. And some of her favorite things are playing with her little brother, her friend Stu, and her best friend Everett.
So I have a quick question for each of you. How do you feel like you best relate to Lyla? Lauren, what do you think? What's something in there that you're like, oh, that sounds like me?
I think I can relate to her on trying to get better at early mornings. That is definitely a tough thing for me. But yeah.
How about you, Ryan?
Oh, I like making projects. I like being hands-on. That's always really fun. So like to see what she makes and maybe replicate some of it.
How about you, Leah?
Definitely the problem solving. Like I'm trying to figure it out is in whatever way I can. Let's get to the bottom of it.
I love that. It's really easy to see a piece of each of us in the character of Lyla. I have to say, making messes, I'm really good at that. And I really wish that I had Stu to help clean things up.
Yeah.
So Leah, go ahead and share more with us about Stu, because he's the
So
best.
Stu is Lila's sidekick. He is like a cross between a hamster and like a magical creature because he can do so many different things. Like it says here, he's something truly unique. He loves to help, but he takes instructions literally, as we see in the show so often. You have to be very explicit, like Tasha was saying earlier, in the instructions you give him. His specialty is helping Lyla, completing tasks with super speed and super strength. He's getting better at whatever Lyla instructs him to do, and he loves, loves, loves all kinds of food.
Here we see some of the characters that actually you'll see a lot in every episode, and the voices that bring those to life. Leah, was there anything in particular that you learned about these characters?
I love that the kids are kids. I love that they look like the characters, and it just is really nice to see that kids get to play these roles. So yeah.
Here's the whole neighborhood. And it's just wonderful. I love the diversity that are in all the neighbors and friends that Lyla sees all the time.
So these are the three main priorities that we are looking at when we talk about Lyla in the Loop: computational thinking skills and mindsets, future pathways in the world of work, and executive functioning, empathy, and resiliency skills. All right, so here are the specific learning goals for Lyla in the Loop.
Okay, so our first learning goal is to understand problem solving as a flexible process that's collaborative, exploratory, and joyful. Joy is a really big part of Lyla and her family and the way that they tackle problems.
And the next is to see themselves as creative problem solvers with the agency, skills, and perseverance to figure things out, as well as generate new ideas.
And also become familiar with the range of tools and techniques within the domain of the computational thinking, supported by the design process, which is some of the things that we already talked about, like algorithms, debugging, control structures, all of that great stuff.
And then strengthening the empathy, resiliency, and executive functioning skills that are foundational to working productively in collaboration with others.
And then the last one is the practice applying of these skills, all the skills we talked about, to novel situations in everyday life and seeing the connections to future pathways in the world of work.
Before we move on, I think that what we're doing right here is a great example of that, because we have to work out how we're going to approach the presentation and who's going to take turns and when that's going to happen. And so right now you're seeing us demonstrate and practice applying all of these skills to a situation. And the other thing I think is amazing is, prior to 2020, I don't know that we would have ever considered doing a training like this, because we would do it face to face. It might have been a bit sooner, but certainly not 20 years ago. So we see how this kind of work has evolved, and who knows what this is going to look like when our kindergartners are the next generation of teachers and educators. So it's an ongoing process, and it's really exciting to have a show that it leans into that so much for our little ones.
All right, so what we're going to do next is take a peek at a clip from the episode Operation Rise and Shine. In this episode, Lyla and her siblings embark on a mission to debug their morning routine so they never miss the bus again. They've been missing the bus, and their parents give them the task of figuring out how to not let that happen anymore. So let's take a look.
Anyone see my favorite marker? Here it is. What's Stu doing? Oh, bus time! Come on, faster, faster!
Hi, kids. I'm going up.
Ugh.
right on time.
How'd you do it?
We went through all the steps of our morning routine, found the problems, and fixed them one by one.
Very impressive. But you can go back upstairs now.
Wait, what? Did we miss the bus again?
No, but it's Saturday, so no school.
Who wants pancakes?
So we all struggle with morning routines, I think, and it would be, I don't know if it would be a good thing to have Stu be there bugling away for us to do every single step. But I'm thinking it must have been one of those holiday weekends, or else you would not fool kids into thinking that they were actually going to get all that done on a Saturday morning. So.
Right. So on this slide, we have the Mighty Picnic team. So these are the people behind Lyla in the Loop. In May of this year, I was able to meet Dave Peth, the creator of Lyla, and Anika Bolden, the digital producer, and wonderful people, wonderful ideas about what Lyla has coming in the future. And then the rest of the team, just really creative people and excited about bringing Lyla and her situations and her family and community to life. So that was very exciting. I do want to let everyone know that they are open to suggestions and ideas. You can contact them at hello@mightypicnic.com with your comments and suggestions. They are very open to bringing Lyla to life in many different ways.
A few things before we move on to, oh, well, we can talk about Pipeline Studios too, but the process of PBS Kids and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, finding these wonderful teams and these terrific ideas, it's a very lengthy and well thought out process. And people all over the United States have these amazing ideas for stories that will fit into the priorities that the U.S. Department of Education has set forward. But these things take a lot of time. And generally, they'll put out a request for proposals. Various groups like Mighty Picnic Team will bring forward their ideas. Generally, 2 to 3 are selected for a pilot. And based on that pilot, along with the experts, and if it's adhering to really what the priorities are, the computational thinking, all of these different things in a creative way that's going to be extremely appealing to kids, then that one production company is then given the go-ahead to create X number of episodes. So we may be just seeing this program right now here in 2024, but in reality, this process has been in works probably for the last 8 to 5 years. So it's an amazing thing that we have folks in our Department of Education that can look so forward and realize what our kids are going to need a little bit down in the future. And it's the same thing with the next team, the Pipeline Studios.
So Pipeline Studios is where all the magic happens as far as getting those stories together and putting the actual production together. So all the voiceovers, the videos, they look like they have a lot of fun. They do a great job because the animation is just wonderful with Lyla. It's really nice to not just look at the show and see the stories, but really to look at the pictures and the animation. It's really nice. So they do a great job. So Lyla in the Loop has its own website. It is pbskids.org/Lyla. And on the website, you can find printables that like coloring pages and games. You can find digital games and other activities that you can do at home with the family. All of these things are free to access. You can access them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At pbskids.org.
And at the click of a button.
Yes. Sorry.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say the click of a button. So there you go.
At the click of a button, you can also access these materials in Spanish. So at the top of your page on the computer or on your mobile device, there is a button that you can change the English to Spanish and access these items in Spanish as well.
addition, if you have not yet visited pbslearningmedia.org, there is much, much more available on that. Go ahead, Ryan. I think I cut you off, so you can finish
I was
sharing.
just so excited about all the resources on pbslearningmedia.org. So for those of you that haven't used PBS Learning Media yet, I was going to say .org again. It is free access for everybody. And all of the activities and things on there are aligned with national and state learning standards, but you can find different games, activities, printable materials, really endless resources to go with all PBS shows, but also the new Lyla in the Loop. And then we have a slide that kind of showcases some of the things. So we have these activity cards. I know the routine chart went in our summer challenge activity guide this summer, and I had several parents tell me how useful it was at home. So just a few things that you can print and use at your leisure with your family.
So PBS Kids for Parents is another amazing tool. And you can find articles. So specifically for Lyla, because it's all about computational thinking and those skills, there's an article about 3 ways to smooth out your morning routine. You can watch that episode that we just watched a couple of slides back with your family, and then you could read this article, learn how to do this in your home. And there's also an article, Lyla in the Loop celebrates family food traditions. And these are just ideas and ways for you to involve the whole family in some really fun activities and learn at home. And in addition to articles, there's also hands-on activities that you can all do. So there's a card game, a secret message symbol, and then there's also some recipes that you can try out. And some of the ones highlighted are Jamaican coconut drops and dance while you make carrot cake with Lyla in the Loop. So there are some really, really fun and awesome resources on PBS Kids for Parents. So I highly recommend you go to PBS Kids or pbs.org/parents.
And you can watch Lyla on WFSU each day at 8 a.m. On our Kids 360 24-hour station each day at 4 p.m. And then you can find Lyla 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at pbskids.org and on our free PBS Kids video app. That is, you can find that on Apple or Android and access it anytime. So we have Leap into the Loop with WFSU. So Leap into the Loop is a program, a set of programs. LEAP is an acronym. It stands for Lyla's Educational Activities and Programs. And what this is a set of computational thinking engagement experiences for children 5 to 8.
It's designed to implement the computational thinking activities in different and flexible ways.
The activities are designed around universal design for learning principles. They provide multiple ways for participation.
And the LEAP schedule is broken down into 5 loops, one for each LEAP family member.
So the activities can be implemented on their own or combined to create half-day and full-day engagement experiences. These are geared towards after-school programs, any program that is working with children and families. You can design this educational activity set to fit your program's needs, and we will work with you to bring all of that to life. On the next slide, we'll look at what a schedule of activities might look like. So we kind of look at this as a menu of activities. So in Lyla and the Loop, the show, the family runs their own diner. And so this is kind of our menu of activities. So we have appetizers that start out the day or the event with a whole group introduction activity.
There are main dishes, which are core computational activities. This can be with the whole group or it can be rotating at different centers in the room.
And of course, you need side items, and those are the additional expansion activities that children can do by partnering or on their own individually. And sometimes these we even leave till let parents take it home so that they can continuing kind of like what's coming up in the to-go, but Lauren, go ahead and take yours.
So there's also the beverage refilling station where this is a designated space to have some quiet time, a calming space, and this is labeled as optional, so you can use your best judgment of the people who are at your event and the age of kids, and based on time, if you want to include this or not. It is a really awesome idea to include at these sort of events.
And then we have our to go. So this is the first part of it is a whole group reflection. So everybody kind of talks about, how they felt about the activities and what they learned, and share with each other. And then, like Tasha mentioned, you can maybe take some of these sides home with you, to expand the learning at home so that you can do some hands-on things at home, and take Lyla with you.
And so there's a couple upcoming events that we wanted to highlight before we let you go, and go experience all of the great Lyla resources and episodes. The first one is PBS Ed Camp. This is coming up on September 21st. So if you're an educator or a parent of young kiddos, we hope that you join us. It's free and breakfast and lunch are included. And that'll kick off our series of parent and educator workshops. We have one a month, typically on a Tuesday night, and also provide dinner. In October, we have our Not So Scary Halloween event coming up, details coming. And then in November, we're actually going to start movie nights with a premiere of a new PBS kids show called Carl the Collector. You can find info about all of these events and more by going to wfsu.org/education. There'll be free registration links and detailed details about where these things are, what they include, who they're best for. So we hope to see you at an event in person soon.
And we have created this in the fall, so that's why those events are showing, but annually these things happen. I'm not always the PBS Ed Camp, but certainly the other events, and this is rather evergreen, so just know that there will be parent and educator workshops, movie nights, and other special events regardless of when you watch this. We cannot leave you without doing a shameless plug for thelearningneighborhood.org. The Learning Neighborhood was or is WFSU's signature thing, website that we created. It's interactive for kids, families, and educators. You select a vehicle, you go into different neighborhoods and explore different businesses and careers and jobs. And and this is what it looks like. So you can, and we have wonderful folks that have brought this to life with us, especially the Florida Center for Interactive Media. And so here's all the lovely different vehicles that you can select, the different districts that range from like downtown to the education center. As we drive along, you can see dentist office and doctor or nurse and electrician. Let's hop into electrician.
Oh.
Oh, let's hop into the fire station.
Well, we could also go backwards, but let's hop into the fire station.
Okay. You want to talk about the fire station, Ryan?
Sure. So at the top of inside every building, I'll say, are our soft skills examples. So firefighters, they are brave, they have good communication skills and are decisive. And then we have resources that kind of contribute to those soft skills and educate about firefighters. So there will always be a few episodes of PBS Kids shows and hands-on activities to do at home, as well as online games that kids can access. and additional resources. And then most of our jobs will also have some book recommendations as well. So we recommend a visit to your local library.
And when you go through each one of these, so you can select a show or an episode, and then you can select a hands-on activity and supplement with a, whoop, supplement with an online game. And then there's information that you can print out for parents or just to continue the learning. But we call that a bundle, and it's a lesson plan right there on all different kinds of subjects. And whether you are homeschooling or you are in schooling, all of these things are available for you to use, and we're so jazzed about it. And if you have feedback for us, please let us know. Thank you very much for spending time with us today. And you can reach out to us. Please leave us comments. Please follow our YouTube. WFSU has a YouTube station and WFSU Education as well. And we can't wait to see you next time. Thank you.